Excellent.
So,
And with that, I will turn it over to today's Toastmaster and our Pathways Ambassador. And questions?
You forgot to tell us about the dress code for the day.
Yeah,
Say
sweater.
two speakers are dressed.
Oh,
Today's
yeah.
dress code is sweaters.
Green sweaters.
all right.
So I'll turn over to Rich Hopkins, who is our Pathways Ambassador and Guide, both.
Both.
He's filling
Okay.
two roles for us. So if we have questions, Rich is our guy to go to for Pathways. So welcome, Rich. I'll turn it over to you. Do you need this started?
No, it's started. It's all good.
We've been filming our pre-conversations.
Yes, we have.
Excellent.
But don't worry, I'll edit those out.
Okay.
But yes, the dress code. I had thought slacks, white shirt, tie, federal government. And then I took my kids to school, and I thought jeans and sweater. So, I'm walking backwards. Never walk backwards. Toastmasters Pathways. I am here to introduce your club to the Pathways program. Now, why did they pick me to be a Pathways guide? Because they were desperate. They did not have enough people volunteering, so I had every shot in the world to become a Pathways guide. I've also been a Toastmaster for 19 years. I've been a Toastmaster in 3 different districts. I am a distinguished Toastmaster, and I've taken 3rd in the World Championship of Public Speaking. So I have a distinguished career behind me, which means absolutely nothing when introducing a brand new program to a bunch of people you don't know. So think about that. Pathways. All right. See, now here's the first thing. Is that the videos don't always work, but I have it all set up. And they're going to introduce you to Pathways with this.
Welcome to the Toastmasters Pathways learning experience, an exciting, flexible, and interactive way to develop your skills and help others in your club develop theirs. Building on Dr. Smedley's original vision and Toastmasters' core competencies, Pathways upholds the club experience while offering new, revitalized educational content that helps you learn communication and leadership skills that address real-world scenarios. Pathways expands both current education and leadership tracks by offering more than 300 competencies across 59 projects. These projects are divided into 10 specialized learning paths that allow you to tailor your experience to fit your needs and your pace. All of this content is available online, allowing you to learn anytime, anywhere, from your computer, laptop, or tablet through Basecamp. Basecamp is the place where you'll find all of the materials for your learning experience, along with tools for your journey. In Basecamp, you'll be able to share feedback with fellow club members, view badges you've earned, access and save digital speech evaluations, and more. When you first begin Pathways, you'll take an online assessment that will recommend the path that's right for you. You'll be able to access your path from your education transcript in Basecamp, where you can view and complete projects. New elective projects, such as write a compelling blog and manage projects successfully, allow you to tailor your learning to meet your interests. Projects in Basecamp include a variety of interactive elements, including questionnaires, quizzes, menus, and expandable content. Educational videos model skills and provide demonstrations of the concepts you are learning. For example, Prepare for an Interview shows effective and ineffective interview techniques. Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring demonstrates the difference between coaching and mentoring. And Manage Online Meetings provides the best practices and strategies for holding a webinar or another type of online meeting. As you can see, Pathways represents an exciting paradigm shift that brings with it many new learning opportunities. What's more, Pathways will feel familiar to you because it maintains the things you love about Toastmasters, including your club experience. Pathways is coming to your club soon. Visit toastmasters.org/pathways to learn more.
See, and soon means March 20th. That's when this program is going to roll out. And the only thing I didn't like about the video is they used the term paradigm shift. You know, we're not supposed to use that term anymore. That's like, what, 1997? Paradigm shift? The rest of the video is pretty cool. It's the first time I've actually watched it because I much prefer presentations over sitting there and watching videos. Ralph Smedley, he's the guy that created Toastmasters, 1924. We've been around a long time. And one of the reasons they're introducing Pathways is that since 1924 there haven't been all that many changes in the core curriculum. There have been. We've introduced some manuals. We introduced the Communication Leader Manual back in 2007. They've had some shifts in the awards, but this is a complete paradigm shift in the way that you do Toastmasters, while not taking away anything about what you're doing with Toastmasters now. It's increasing the power. It's kind of like going out to your car and it looks the same as it always did, which for some of us isn't all that great. But then you get in and you turn it on and it's got twice the power under the hood. That's what Pathways is going to do for your Toastmasters career. Now this is the old program. You're familiar with it, the competent communicator, the competent leadership, different aspects of the old program. They're going to be expanding that, and one of the ways they want to do that is by making it more fun. Ralph Smedley loved to have fun. Jeffrey Gitomer says that the best time to ever learn something is right after you are laughing, right after you are having fun. So let's have more fun in our club. Heather, you told me your club has fun, right?
Yeah.
Is it starting it? Do I need to do anything to make it have more fun? I could dance. My wife will not say that I can dance. So what do we got? Learning revitalized, high value, it's fun. It's going to be customized to your needs. The video talked about you having a quiz that you can go through, an assessment to kind of decipher what it is you're trying to accomplish instead of trying to make you fit into specific manual. Do the Competent Communicator Manual, boom, just do it. No, you'll get to choose different types of projects. It's flexible, it's competency-based. So those of you that have been Toastmasters for a while, you don't have to approach a project in the same way, and you can go after different paths that may be more advanced instead of taking maybe a basic path. But you'll have the opportunity to do all of them. Resource rich, which means that it's not just printed manuals. In fact, only 5 of the 10 paths have printed material available right now. It's online, which means you can do a lot of different tasks online through the Toastmasters.org website, through Basecamp, which we'll show you a little bit later. You will also have a lot of video tutorials. So instead of just being told to use vocal variety, you'll see a video that uses vocal variety so that you can actually figure out what it is you're supposed to do. Meaningful, effective evaluations. They go a lot more in depth, even though you will still have your 1 to 2 minute oral evaluations in your club. There's a little bit more to it after that, and we'll cover that as we go along. You choose your experience. It's tailored, self-paced learning, which we've always had. Flexibility to choose your experience. Greater access to the materials, expanded resources, real-world applicability. Thank you, Toastmasters, for making me read your slide. These are the 5 competencies that we are trying to focus on. Public speaking, of course, and in every path, public speaking is a part of it. So we're not just shifting totally out of public speaking, it's always a part of leadership, but we're also expanding so we have more leadership in our paths. Interpersonal communication, a little bit different from public speaking. Strategic leadership, management, and then confidence, which is a goal, but it's not a goal that you can achieve simply by setting out and saying, okay, I'm going to do a confidence manual. Confidence is something you get by doing the other 4, by getting up here and speaking, by doing your projects. And so it is a natural byproduct in terms of a competency. And these are the 10 paths. And you can see each path has highlighted the different parts of the core competencies that that path focuses on. So you'll be able to go in there and really decipher what is working for you. And they each have little badges. We're going to badges. Anybody play video games?
Do we get a sash?
No sashes. You know, we might be able to create some.
Yeah, maybe an exception for me.
Print the badges, and then we can sell Toastmaster cookies.
There you go. There you
That
go.
would be great. So within the competencies, within the pathways, you have 5 levels. Everybody gets to start with level 1. You get an icebreaker. Each pathway, you get to give an icebreaker. But that icebreaker isn't necessarily just, hi, let me learn how to talk and tell you about myself. No, those icebreakers are now more tailored towards your project. It's, hi, let me tell you about this pathway I'm about to go on and what I want to accomplish in it. So by listening to other people's icebreakers, you kind of get an introduction to that pathway as well. So you get a lot of chances to do icebreakers and increase that particular public speaking skill. Evaluation and feedback, research and presenting. Basic fundamentals of speaking. Once you pass level 1, you can go to level 2, which has a couple of required projects depending on the pathway. And after level 2, you can go into Toastmasters mentoring. It talks about an introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. That's a separate module that once you get through level 2 in any pathway, you are eligible to go after. Now that doesn't mean you have to be a certified mentor through pathways to be a mentor to another member. So that isn't a requirement, but becoming a mentor gives you more of an opportunity to be a pathways mentor and be of more value within the club and to the new members that are going to be coming in. Level 3 gets a little bit more intense, and you can't even get to level 3 online until your VP of Ed certifies you've done level 1 and level 2, level 4, level 5. So you get credit for each level. Each level is like finishing a book. And then finishing through level 5 finishes the pathway itself. 59 projects. Gives you a lot more options to choose from. It doesn't take you 59 projects to do a pathway though, don't worry. Badges and awards. So you can still get a printed certificate, but you also get badges for completing different levels. The one with the flag is once you've gone through the 5th level and you are through that pathway. You can also give badges. So say we're in pathways right now, and you thought I did an outstanding job giving this presentation. You could go online and access my profile and give me a badge. Just give me a badge. It's like little likes and stickers on Facebook. Evaluations. This is the front of the sheet. Talks much like it does now about the purpose of the speech, what the evaluator needs to look for as a place for comments, and then this is how you evaluate. It goes 1 through 5 in terms of did they do really well, did they not do so well, can they improve, and anywhere in between. Still has room for comments, and what's right there. And this is the 3rd page, which actually explains what you're evaluating them on. Which is really nice for new Toastmasters that come in and are a little bit intimidated by what they're supposed to be evaluating about. You don't know what the comfort level is supposed to be in terms of evaluating. It gives you the characteristics of somebody who has a comfort level up here, what eye contact really means, as opposed to me just kind of looking out there at that cactus picture. I really need to look at Steve once in a while. I really need to look over here. You know, eye contact. So it gives a nice in-depth definition of what you're evaluating so you can do it properly. Sure.
So is it incumbent on the speaker to print this out before they give the speech?
Yes.
And give it to their
You can
evaluator?
give it to your evaluator, or if you're a computerized club, if your people like to bring their laptops, they can actually fill this out on a PDF online. And you can take your evaluations and upload them, either from the printed copies or from people who are doing them online, and you can store them under your profile so that you can keep track of all your evaluations. They don't just end up in file 13. Oh, see, I was trying desperately to read and all I had to do was that. Vocal variety, all the different aspects. This is the Pathways Mentor program I talked to you about. Different modules taking you from the introduction all the way to advanced mentoring. And you get your own special little flag badge for your sash. So, are we confused yet? Are we excited yet? Heather told me this club was excited about
We're
this.
excited about this.
They're more excited about the sashes, I think.
The sash?
So I think we should have a presentation on how to make a sash.
A sash, well, you're always looking for that second speech when you're writing your first speech, Heather. So
I
there
know,
you go.
right?
You got a sash. So where will Pathways take you? It will take you to the future, where we don't need roads. This is going to be the home page when you get into Toastmasters. You can probably find it right now, you just can't get into it. You can get into it when we roll it out on March 20th. And you'll just sign up with your email and your member number. Does everybody here know their member number? Do you even know you have a member number?
I don't know it personally.
I haven't, I know.
Actually, how many of you have signed into the actual Toastmasters WhatsApp?
Yesterday.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we did.
So you had to have your member number to get in there, or you can find your member number in that profile. If you go into my profile, it'll have your member number up in the corner. I always cheat and I look at my Toastmaster magazine, because on the little address thing, it has your member number. So, and if you're desperate, you can email Toastmasters and get your member number that way.
Or you can email me, VP Education.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I'll
Thank
look it up for you.
See, that's...
Helping out.
Yeah, well, I'm not helping you out, because I'm supposed to bring you this pack. I was supposed to bring you this box, but I was so trying to remember to bring the thumb drive that I didn't bring you your box.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to get you your box
Oh my gosh.
shortly, because it has all sorts of cool stuff in it.
Okay.
But you don't
Well, it
need
gives
any
you
of it
time to
at
add
the moment.
sashes, so we're good.
I'll see if I can order a
All
sash.
right.
Find one of my daughter's old Girl Scout sashes. So there you go. And this is the Navigator. The Navigator is basically an introduction to Toastmasters. It's another tool that's really good for your newer Toastmasters. Talks about the program and all the different aspects of it, what you can get out of it. Your packet will include a printed Navigator, but for the most part, you can only access it online. But you can hand it out to your members so you can check it out so that you don't lose it. But if you've been a member for a while, you'll read it and go, oh, I knew this. No, I knew that. I knew that. It's more about Toastmasters than it is about Pathways. Then you get into here, choosing your path. You can get into Basecamp. If you're already a member, Basecamp doesn't cost you anything. Your first path doesn't cost you anything. If you want it printed, if you pick a pathway that can be printed, you'll have to pay an extra $25 for a total of $45 if you're buying that particular path. Because your second path is $20. So it's just like purchasing manuals. Once you get your CC done, you have to go buy a couple manuals. They cost 15 to 20 bucks combined. It's the same thing, only different. Here's the assessment that they talk about going in. Anybody ever done a Survey Monkey? Kind of like that. You go in, you start, you pick out the 3 topics you are most interested in, then you sit there and go through strongly agree to strongly disagree on various questions. Feel relaxed while giving a speech. Today I think I'm a little unsure. Then it suggests 3 paths based on how you answer a series of questions. And if you're like me, after you take a poll like this, and you look at their results and go, no, they take you to the other paths and you can really choose any path you want. But it does recommend to you, based on your answers, what they think might be a good fit. but it's still flexible enough for you to choose your own path. So again, there's the navigator, choosing your path, going through base camp. Your current education goals. Hitting the button. Okay. How many of you are working on something right now? Working on your CC? How many CCs are we trying to get right now? Anybody have a goal to get their CC done? We got 4. Anybody beyond CC trying to get an advanced set of manuals done? 1. You probably have some other members in various places. You have 2 years from the time Pathways rolls out to finish what you want to do. You could even go beyond. You get your competent communicator, you could go all the way through DTM in 2 years on the legacy program. Yeah.
That date is not March 20th, it's some date in the future, though, the 2-year clock window starts, right?
From what they've told me, Pathways will start on March 20th, and you have 2 years from March 20th to finish your project. It
Rich,
changes.
my understanding is that it's 2 years from the date that it's rolled out in all areas. And they're thinking that it may be July or shortly thereafter. So we just have to double check that.
We can double check that. So I've heard it both ways as well, but the information I've gotten from Toastmasters says 2 years. So, but we can definitely double check it. The key is you have plenty of time. Whether you have 18 months or 20 months or 24 months, you have plenty of time to finish what you're doing and anything you really want to accomplish within the current legacy program. New members that come in after Pathways is rolled out won't be able to earn any awards on the legacy program, which is why it's so important that we get on board with Pathways, start understanding it and using it so that we can mentor the new members coming in and help them move forward in the program.
And
And
that date's solid. After March 20th, a new member comes in, they're in Pathways.
That is mostly solid. What is solid is when it's rolled out, they have to do it. If they pay their money after it's rolled out. The only thing that would prevent us from starting on March 20th is if we don't have 80% of the clubs being presented to by that time. We look to be very much on pace to have it roll out on March 20th, but there is that caveat that disaster could strike. You can also do both programs at the same time. So you could be working on a competent communicator and also be working on level 1 in a path. You can finish your competent communicator and then move over to Pathways in 6 months when you've gotten your next 4 speeches done, or however many you may have to do. So for current members, there's a lot of flexibility and options in the Pathways rollout. Club meeting. How's your club meeting going to look? It's going to look the same. Everybody was worried, oh no, it's all online. What are we going to do? We're going to all have to have computers. It's going to be crazy. No, it's not going to be crazy. It's going to be the same. You're going to give speeches. You're going to give evaluations. You're going to do table topics if you want to do table topics. You're going to have business. You're going to have guest speakers who talk too long. You also have with Pathways some pluses. You have access to this store speech evaluations online. You get feedback online through Basecamp. You can receive digital badges and certificates through Basecamp. There were only 68 competencies in the legacy program. There are more than 300 with Pathways. There was 1 communication track, 1 leadership track in the legacy program. Now you've got 10 different learning paths that you can take. And you can actually do those paths more than once, just like you can do an advanced communicator bronze more than once. There are different projects within the pathway where you may have 6 different speech types you can give, but you only need to give 2. So the next time around, you do 2 different ones, 2 different projects. You know, maybe you didn't do the blog writing the last time you did Pathway 3, and the next time you want to do the blog. Distinguished Club Program. Some people really love the Distinguished Program. Other people don't care about the Distinguished Club Program. The key is it still exists, and it's a really good measurement to make sure your club is strong. What I always tell people when I'm training at the TLI, the Toastmasters Leadership Institute, is that when your members reach their goals, your club will reach its goals. When your members are completing their competent communicators and their advanced, getting what they want to get out of Toastmasters, getting trained, etc., you're going to be distinguished pretty much by default. So now, adding in pathways, you can get 4 level 1s, and that would be the same as getting 2 CC awards. You can get 2 level 2s, 2 more level 2s, 2 level 3s, 1 level 4, 1 level 5. And you can see that completing a pathway, they put up there with the advanced and even the distinguished Toastmaster in terms of equivalency, because they don't expect people to get up to level 5 all that quickly. And a lot of people, they'll get up through 3, 4, and then they might switch paths before they go to level 5 because it has more advanced demands, including, I think, being an officer of some type, like an area director. Who are your support team? Well, your chief ambassador and pathway guide, that's both me, so good luck with that. District leadership team. Anybody know who your district leadership team is? You do. Okay, who are they?
I'm the district area director for this club.
Right. But
The
you've
district
also
leadership-
got your district governor.
The triad.
The triad.
The three.
You got
Marshall-
Rhea Thompson,
Rhea Thompson, Marshall
Marshall
Wood,
Ware,
and,
Marshall Wood,
and Mike Akins.
Akins. Yeah,
Those 3.
yeah, but don't bother them. They're busy. Bother him and bother me. So, how to get started? You got to get that. That's what I forgot to bring you. But that's okay, because I'll get it to you quickly. Honest. I need another excuse to drive from Broomfield to Lakewood. These are all the things that are in that. There's the printed navigator. There's an introduction to pathways. The pathways list there that talks about the different aspects of the club is a handout that are enough handouts for everybody in your club, essentially, unless you're ginormous. You get 3 pathways pins that you can give out any way you want. Maybe you give it out to the first 3 people who give their icebreakers, or the first people who finish a level 2, or you throw them up in the air and see who catches them, like a wedding bouquet. You've got that thumb drive. The thumb drive has so much information on it. You, as a VP of Ed, you are the keeper of the thumb drive. You get to go through the information, figure out what's there, and release it as required.
Yay.
She's a good choice because she's virtually the only trustworthy person.
Excellent. Excellent.
Rick.
Other helpful tips, yes. When they launch this, you'll want to go online and see that popped up. Unless you're like probably on a federal government system where all your pop-ups are blocked. So, and you may have them blocked at home too. You got to unblock the pop-ups or you won't be able to do anything because nothing will pop up. So that's just a minor compatibility feature to turn those off or turn those back on. Continued support. Yes, I'm here. I will be here for you, for the VP Ed. For all the VP Eds of my clubs, I'm going to be doing some conference calls that people can call in on and ask questions that you get from your club, questions that you have. We'll be doing those. I need to start those in the next week. And we'll be doing several in March and a couple in April. So I'm not just going to give this presentation and disappear. I will be available. I will email you. I need to get your email address.
Okay.
And we will set those up. So, any questions? Bug her so she can bug me.
Why doesn't the president have to help with? No, I'm kidding.
Well, because the president
Isn't an educator, right?
the person you elect as president is the person you think can do the least. Because they don't have to do anything. They just have to make sure everybody else does something. That's why I always volunteer for president of my club.
Darn.
Let's log in together. Well, let's not. I already talked to you about logging in and how to log in, so you guys can log in on your own time. And besides, I have a feeling you've got some things going on your internet that would prevent you from logging on very well right now. Let's see, Q&A. Ooh, that means it's your turn to talk, and I have to answer. I just got to preface this. There are no stupid questions. There are just questions I don't know the answers to. So, in the back of the room.
Question about, you said when we're doing an evaluation online, you can store it. Can you also upload a handwritten evaluation?
Yes.
And store it? So you're going to scan that in?
You can scan it. I mean, these days, if you got a phone, you can take a picture of it and upload it from the picture.
Yeah.
It's so easy nowadays.
So it's not just the digital evaluations that are
Right.
to be kept.
Yeah.
Follow-up question to that, is there an advantage of doing the evaluation online completely? For example, does it track the scoring and show your improvement over time if you do it that way?
Well, since they'll all be stored, you can go through and track your improvement, but they do not at the moment have a system to graph your improvement in any different specific area. Maybe that will be in Pathways 2.0. And you could program that and make millions of dollars in Toastmaster coin. But that's a great idea. But that's one of the reasons they're trying to make it so people can store things online, so they have access to that information and see what kind of progress they're making.
Rich, Rick Barrett, Area Director, I've seen you several times.
I'm
I've
sorry.
seen, no, actually, I enjoy you in speech competitions especially. I've seen 3 of these presentations at club level, and I think this is the best one I've seen, so congratulations.
Oh, cool.
Well presented. I have a question about the badges. Are they all electronic badges, or are they actually physical badges that we can hand people?
They're only physical if you print one.
Okay.
They're all
So
online.
It's all electronic. And I understand the correlation between the point system now, 4 type 1s versus 2 CCs and so on. I have to complete an area director's visit form. And that's going to be, I guess over the next 2 years, is going to have to show a combination of the 2.
Yep.
Do you know when that form's going to be updated for the area directors so that we can I have a club that's actually working on pathways now, and I don't have any way to document their progress.
Is there not a comment section when you write online, when you do your area reports online?
Well, there's text sections,
Yeah.
but not for, there's 4 pages, and page 4 is pretty much, have they completed 2 CC manuals?
Right.
And who is the person, and when, if they haven't completed, do you have people targeted and what day? There's no place for a comment on that. There's really no crosswalk between pathways and.
I'm sure they'll
general
update the
system.
forms, but they probably won't happen until after the rollout. And you'll still have area visits after that time.
I'm just making it simple and finishing all mine before March 20th, and I don't have to.
Oh, you're
Worry
way too
about
proactive.
But anyhow, I just know that that's an issue, and
It is.
I was concerned about clubs our club really isn't concerned about distinguished and select, and it just happens if it happens.
Right.
We're more concerned with the individual members. I'll just say that. There's an Arrowhead. But there's other clubs that are very concerned about that, and they're asking me, Rick, how can we get credit for the work that we've done?
Right.
And it's more of it isn't really an issue here, but it's more of an issue with me, with the other clubs in my area.
Right. Well, luckily, the area director report will not hinder them in any way from accomplishing what they need to accomplish. But it does hinder you in what you want to try to achieve. And so you might want to just put something in the comments about that. But I will bring that up, and I'll look. Toastmasters has a FAQ online for the guides that has like 300 questions that have been asked. So I'm willing to bet that has been asked, and I will get back to you on that.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Go ahead,
Go
Steve.
ahead.
No.
I already asked one.
Oh, you didn't. So would you walk us through really quick, I don't mean to put this into the awards piece, but you know how big that's been for the last program, where you get these great embossed certificates. Are they just the
Right.
printable certificates now?
They are just the printable certificates.
Okay, and then what is the end goal? Like, we had a whole presentation from our distinguished Toastmaster one day, I think, or just a conversation about it, to show us all the amazing things that you're awarded at the end of that long haul. You know, your, what was it, a pin and
DTM award.
Yeah, the DTM. So is it still a distinguished Toastmaster when you get to the end? What's happening at the
Yeah,
end?
you will still earn a Distinguished Toastmaster. There will be a Distinguished Toastmaster
Okay.
program. And you will still get a big plaque.
Okay. I'm not after the award. I know those questions will come. What's
I
happening?
am.
What's
I've
the
got
point?
a nice big DTM plaque. I just wish I'd gotten a nice big DTM plaque from the early 2000s because it was like a gold scroll.
Oh, okay.
Those are really cool.
Well, let's bring that back then.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be nice. Yes, the bigger awards will still exist, and they'll still have district trophies and speech contests. That won't change.
Okay.
But yeah, you won't get them in the mail saying congratulations on your advanced communicator. You'll get an email that says the same thing.
Okay.
And if you're like me, when you earn your 15th competent communicator, you'll still get a letter that says, congratulations on achieving competent communicator. All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Maybe you covered this, but it just wasn't clear to me. So we can take what's in our we can either finish out our manuals if we've started them. We can take what's in there and input it into
No,
this.
it's non-transferable.
Okay.
So anything you're doing now, you just want to finish it. You could go from competent communicator all the way to DTM on the old program before you are not eligible to use the program anymore. You've got enough time as a current member. But you can also drop everything you're doing now and wait till March 20th and do pathways,
We'll just start over again.
or anywhere in between. You decide to finish your competent communicator, think, oh, I'll do a couple of advanced manuals because I was really looking forward to this one, and then switch to pathways. Or you can do both. So I recommend as soon as pathways rolls out, you all get on there and do the assessment and get started. Even if you don't start a path, be in a position where you can start a path so that when that first new member comes in after the rollout, you can help them do that because you've done it.
Anything,
Let me
sorry.
just,
Yeah.
as area director, let me add a little bit of that. Just a little bit of difference that I heard from the other presentations. They said that your icebreaker, that you've done an icebreaker, you can use that as credit. That's the only one that I've heard that's a little different. Now, I don't know why you wouldn't want to redo an icebreaker
Bless you.
at the beginning of each path, but they said that you can transfer the icebreaker. I might be incorrect in that, maybe I misinterpreted that. The other thing too is they mentioned that if you finish a competent communicator manual, you get your certificate and you're a competent communicator. That doesn't go away.
Right.
You have that award, you've made that accomplishment, and that doesn't go away. If you want to go through the advanced manuals, it's interesting to me, there's a lot of speeches, but the advanced manuals are a lot of fun to do as far as I'm concerned. If somebody wanted to proceed all the way to DTM in the next 2 years, that can happen, just like Rich said. It's just something you probably should let me know about that because it includes being a district officer for a year. I was an area director, I am an area director, my term will end at the end of June. It actually was not very difficult, it wasn't that much time commitment. It was, you are required to go visit other clubs, but I thought that was a lot of fun to go visit other clubs. And so I really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed being one of those, Marcia or Rhea or Mike, triad, I think they're out of their mind. You have to be retired to do that because it takes so much time. But there are district offices that you can be that aren't as imposing on your schedule and your family. And I didn't feel this area director, and that's really, there's a few things you have to do outside the club, but it isn't that difficult. So if someone wanted to go all the way to DTM, I will have my DTM this summer. Because I have to finish my mentoring of another club. And I'm mentoring a club that's close by, and again, it's fun to go over. There's a new club a lot of fun to go visit them. So I'm mentoring a new club, and then I have to finish my district officer post, and that will end at the end of June. Those are the only two things I have remaining. So it's amazing just getting up and doing speeches, how quickly those boxes become checked. And if you really want to do that, you just have to sign up to give speeches and wade your way through it. But I'm also excited about what Pathways is offering. I'm excited about the mentoring. There's a lot of mentoring that goes on in the National Park Service, and I think that we can really help those people who are signing up to be mentors. Not only, I'm sure they go to classes within the National Park Service, but I think this could be some icing on the cake. So, in all the different avenues, it's structured, but it's less structured because you have so many.
It'll get really interesting when you start having some members on the legacy program and some members doing pathways. You're beginning to see the difference between the programs. You go back to your original question in terms of the icebreaker. I think there are people who will find a way to make their icebreaker work. We'll talk their VP Ed into saying, yes, this person did their icebreaker, and that's a personal decision between that speaker and the VP Ed. For me, I think it's a little fudging it a little bit, because each icebreaker in the Pathways program should be tailored for that pathway itself. But I understand the feeling, and what you were saying. Once you're a CC, you're always a CC. And if you aren't a CC or an Advanced Communicator Bronze in the next year and a half, you'll still get mailed that certificate. So you still have the shiny stuff. And I want to go back. I do believe for a small charge you can ask them to print a nice award for you, as well as postage on your local printer. I will double check that and bring that up on our next conference call.
Okay.
That would be great. I'm a DTM now. I will still be a DTM when Pathways rolls out. I will just not be a Pathways DTM. It's kind of like you climb one mountain and you can always say you climbed that mountain. But then when you look over there, you haven't climbed that mountain yet. So go climb that mountain. It doesn't take away anything you've done over here. It just builds on it.
Just real quick to add in, I think to help answer Steve's question, so the legacy program still has to be done for submission of the awards the same way we've been doing it all along. Not electronically, not online. I'm the one that submits it online, correct?
You submit it online.
Okay,
yes.
the other one
And
is everybody
you'll
doing their own
submit the other
submission.
ones online as
Okay,
well.
I will.
Yeah, you'll have to approve it. They can't just go
Then
in
most
and-
of the work's been done in there versus them filling out that paper application
Right.
and handing it to me. Okay.
Right. You'll be more of a verification gatekeeper, so that somebody doesn't become a DTM in 3 weeks.
So those of you who are new on that legacy program, when you finish one of those manuals, you fill out a form at the back and everybody signs it, and then I turn it in and enter all your stuff. Now it sounds like you'll enter it as you go, and then I'll go in and look at it and approve it.
Okay.
So.
I've got time for one more question, and then I want to show a video at the end. Or we'll just go into the video. Alrighty then. This was the actual video you were supposed to see. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. We'll just do it this way. When you have technical difficulties, don't talk about it.
What I like best about Pathways is the fact that it's much more customized to what you may want to get out of Toastmasters, what your goals are.
It's basically Toastmasters updated.
The base camp is like having a personal coach. It guides you through the journey of Pathways and tells you the next steps.
One of the things I liked about Basecamp is that I can tell where I am in my journey and continue at the next step. I know exactly where I am.
I've used it on a computer, I've used it on a tablet, I've used it on a phone.
It's really cool that we're able to go on to Basecamp and take a quiz that determines what path best suits our needs.
One of the most surprising things about the assessment is that it gave me more awareness about what exactly I was looking for.
The questions were very introspective.
The assessment was very intuitive. Taking the assessment helped me really put a finger on my goals.
These paths are going to aid me in a more specific way
I chose really gave me the step-to-step roadmap into achieving my goals.
There are 10 different paths. It's amazing how much opportunity there is in the future.
Pathways has led me to a whole new level.
I'm really appreciative that Toastmasters has this new, exciting format. After decades of having an old format, we are now up to date and we can determine which path best suits the individual.
There you go, cue the Olympic victory music. These people have gone through pathways. I've actually met a couple of those guys. I hadn't seen that video, and I knew a couple of them. They've done it in District 57. They've had it for a year now, and they've gone through it in California. And there are a lot of other districts around the world that have been on this for a long time. And it's helped Toastmasters continue to improve it, work out some of the bugs, and we'll work out some of the bugs as we go through it. But it's an outstanding opportunity for veteran members to revitalize themselves, and for your new members to come in and feel like they're getting involved not in a program that's from 1924 or even 1994, but a program that's built for them right now, using the tools and the media and the opportunities that we have today. So I hope you get on board and get involved and get some real benefit out of it, because that's what it's for, is to benefit you. With that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Rich.
Anyone else have any other questions, comments, concerns?
Great use on the word of the day, sash.
That was the word of the day.
Oh, I was proselytizing, wasn't I? Yes, I was.
I would just add that I've been in this club for a few years, and it's been amazing. I've mentioned this before. It's been amazing to me to see people come in the club struggling with public speaking, with leadership skills, and to see them advance so much in 6 months to a year. And I just think that this is going to give those members opportunities to really reach the same goals as becoming better public speakers, advancing their leadership skills, but pretty much being more of a customized path as opposed to a path that was pretty rigid in the past. Not that it wasn't a good path, but I think that I'm excited for people like Rex that are new to the club, that he can look at this and say, this is where I want to improve myself, and this is the path I can go down, the road I can go down. And I'm just excited about seeing Rex a year from now, and see how much, and Sean, and the people that are relatively new to the club. Not that I'm excited about seeing the other people as they become more advanced, but it is pretty, don't be laughing at me. It is pretty, it's just neat to see people use this and go forward. And Kelly must have to leave early.
One of the other aspects is that these programs are much more designed for real-world speaking opportunities. That's one of the things that people were always talking about with the older program, is that I would never give this speech out in the real world. Well, now they're assigning you speeches that are more the type you would do in the real world.
I mean, if these people here, this is a real-world environment here in in this building. A lot of these employees here, the staff members, Sean, I apologize for not speaking about the people outside the building, but people inside the building, they actually come to Toastmasters, then they are giving presentations. Like I've witnessed Heather's presentations and Scott's presentations at the work session. And it really is exciting to me to see how good their presentations are. But if you're doing a presentation, you can invite me, and I'll fill out the evaluation and get credit for it, for one of these paths. You don't have to do it right here in this setting.
That's right.
Interesting. Could we take, for those of us that aren't part of the MPS, can we take a video or anything like that? Yeah,
you could do anything like that. I was blessed to be invited to a national convention, and I had to give presentations. And wonderful enough, Beth Boaz, which was in the audience. So I said, Beth, will you do evaluations on my presentations for me? She said, sure.
Nice.
So I got credit for all the presentations that I did at the national conference.
That's
And I got a
fantastic.
great compliment at the end. It made me feel good. I'll just extend it. I've mentioned it before. At the end of the week, somebody I didn't know came up to me and said, if everybody's presentation was as good and as interesting as yours, it would have been a lot better conference. That was, I was almost without words, but I'm never without words, so I said, thank you very much.
And there are some of these pathways that actually have videoing your speech being a part of it. We
okay.
have a manual now that is called Communicating on Video that involves that. But so it's also going to be in the new program.
Okay.
But I think in a more widespread manner, because that's how we do communicate.
Yeah.
We make YouTube videos all the time, 15-second Snapchats.
Mhm.
But Sean, if you are going to give a presentation, and it's going to be on Thursday, mention it on Tuesday, and if someone can cut themselves loose Thursday night, they can come or whatever and watch it.
Okay,
I
yeah.
would just invite us as a group. We'll feel bad if nobody comes, but it gives us an opportunity to come. And
Well, now you can just have somebody put their phone up and live stream it.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd rather sit here at home. Here's popcorn. Now he's speaking.
Yeah.
I did think of one question. Before it goes
Yeah.
live, there's really no way we can go on and
The
look at some
icebreaker
of
is
the
available
materials.
now.
The icebreaker
So you
is.
can go there and search the icebreaker and
So we can sign into our
You-
profile?
you can sign into your current profile, but you can go into Pathways itself, not as a profiled person, but just as a Toastmaster.
Okay.
And they've made the icebreaker available.
Huh. Good to know. Okay.
I'll work with Rich to get that package so everybody can have materials to look at.
Yeah, I suppose you live in Broomfield, huh?
Oh, Highlands Ranch, you won't want to drive there. Opposite end.
It's a 2-hour drive instead of a 1-hour drive for you.
Yeah.
I've been to Highland Ranch. Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Kathy.
Rich.
Yeah, thank you very
Appreciate
much.
Braving the weather and the distances.
remember, set up the room, thank you.